Good morning again, guys. Still a pouring rain Monday morning, but chance to kind of see what's going on. Obviously, markets open again today, being Monday, closed on Friday because of the holiday. So I kind of was digging through to see what's going on in the financial world over the weekend. And so I'm going to ask you a question. How comfortable do you feel with all those greenbacks in your wallet, in the bank, in the market, in the safe deposit box, in your safe, wherever you got your money? Okay. If you feel remotely close to safe, you're about the only one. Uh, and again, this all goes into things that are planned. Apparently, the rest of the world, the governments, if you will, don't feel so safe about fiat currency. Not that it comes as a whole big surprise to preppers. I mean, at least myself and Rudy over at Alaska Prepper have been screaming from the rooftops to buy precious metals forever. Okay. A little bit here, a little bit there, but eventually, like everything else, it adds up. Okay. Now, if anybody's looked at the markets this morning, gold is pushing $2,000 an ounce again. Okay. Silver is back up over 26. Okay. We've seen a nice rally in both of them here in the last month or so. X that spike we saw in gold get up to about 2075, right as the whole Eastern European thing took off. But then, of course, it came back to reality. But so this is where it gets interesting as to what is going on and why. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. Over the weekend, it was reported that France has completed repatriating all of its gold. Okay. Now, just to give you an idea, most countries diversify, just like you do with your pantry or whatever. Anything that you've got that's worth something, you put a little bit here, you put a little bit there, you put a little bit somewhere else. So, France may have stored some in Fort Knox, they may have stored some in London, they may have stored some in Switzerland, whatever it was. Well, up until 2016, France had repatriated, what was it? Somewhere around 221 tons of gold back to France, back to Paris. Well, apparently they have now completed the repatriation of the rest of it. Okay. So France now holds all of their gold in Paris, right? In a vault underground. It's something 40 feet underground or something like that. Now, I want to give you this. There is less than 180,000 tons of gold in the world. All right, that's it. All right, and I know it sounds like a lot. The U.S. owns 8,118 tons of gold. Now, if we get into coming off the gold standard 50 years ago, and I want to show you a picture here real quick. All right, we came off the gold standard in 1971. If you look on here, in 1971, the United States had 290 million ounces of gold. Okay? That's what the government owned, not the people. We come off the gold standard, and what did the U.S. do? In 1980, we had 263 million ounces of gold. In 2008, we had 261 million ounces of gold. In 2022, we have 261 million ounces of gold. The United States has less gold now than we did 50 years ago. If you look all the way to the lower right-hand corner, if we were on the gold standard, the United States has enough gold to cover 8% of the currency, M2. All right, and I'll explain what M2 is in a second. But I want to give you this, 8%. So that means every dollar you have, we have enough gold in the United States to cover 8 cents of it. The other 92 cents is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. All right. So what is M2? All right. There's your big question. This is liquid assets, all the dollar bills, all the coins, all the balances in savings accounts, all checking accounts, and all the balances in money market accounts and CDs. Money that can be liquidated instantly. Okay, it does not include money that's invested in stocks or real estate or anything like that. This is cash that can be liquidated like that. That's M2. We can cover 8% of that. And our gold holdings have gone down. Now, where I say this is where the problem comes in, I want you to take a look. Y'all know about stories like Russia buying gold like crazy. All right? Let's talk about some other countries. Poland, okay? In 2018, 2019, the Poles bought 126 tons of gold to to more than double their gold reserves, bringing them up to 229 tons, okay? Poland in 2022 plans to buy another 100 tons of gold this year. They are going to increase their gold holdings nearly 50% this year. All right? Let's talk about Hungary. Okay? In 2018, Hungary had 3.1 tons of gold. That's it. Now, what have they done in the last 3.5 years? They now have 91.4 tons of gold. They have increased their gold holdings 30 times over. This is the deal, guys. The world sees the dollar collapsing. The yuan is not, it's not probable, let's say, for it to become the world reserve currency. It may eventually, okay? Probably not going to be in my lifetime. Right? The problem that you have with it, even though, China's got trade with 2/3 of the world, okay, the yuan still isn't a widely respected currency. It's certainly not a trustworthy currency because the Chinese have done enough we're devaluing the currency by 50%. Okay, they do that. The rest of the world doesn't trust the Chinese enough to go, gee, you know what? They could just do it on a whim and devalue their currency 50%. And, oh, gee, we hold billions, if not trillions of dollars worth of yuan, and all of a sudden those trillions are now worth billions, and those billions are now worth millions. Okay, the old joke of what's the fastest way to become a millionaire in Las Vegas? Take $2 million with you. Yeah, same thing with the Chinese government. So where are all the countries in the world, and where do we, those of us who have a tendency to look out ahead of the curve, not follow along like little puppy dogs going, whatever you want me to do, okay, we still need to be adding to our precious metals, our silver, our gold. All right. I know everybody's going to say, but gee, Pinball, gold's now near $2,000 an ounce. Yeah, okay. Back a few months ago, we were talking about buying it at $1,800. All right. So by now, whatever you've paid in premium, you've recouped at the current markets. Okay. So you're back to break even. You're going to pay for a service no matter what you get, guys. Okay. I know everybody's, the premiums are too high. No, they ain't coming down anytime soon. Okay? The cost of groceries is too high too, but it ain't coming down either. I want you to look at this chart, okay? If you look there, this goes back to coming off the gold standard. This is what it would take the value of gold to be if we went back on the gold standard. M2 again. Like I said, cash, checking, savings, CDs, money market, that sort of stuff. Money in circulation. To get the United States to cover 40%, remember we're at 8 right now, to get the government, to get the dollar to be covered, 40 cents on the dollar to be covered by gold, the price of gold would have to be over $30,000 an ounce. It's to get to 40%, okay, for 2. If we got to 100%, if the dollar was suddenly gold backed again, it would have to be 2.5 times that. That would mean an ounce of gold would need to cost $75,000. What do you think the French, the Hungarians, the Poles, the Russians, why do you think they're stockpiling all this gold? The same reason that you stockpile all that food, all that ammo, all those seeds. They just happen to have a couple more bucks in the pocket, a little bit more in the way of precious metals that they can afford than you and I can. But you tell me how your life would change if something you paid $2,000 for now was worth $75,000 extra. Let's say you had 3 ounces. Let's say you had 4. Let's say you had 5, just to make the math easy. I know it's a lot of money, $10,000. Let's say you put $10,000 into gold right now. And that was now worth $375,000. That's what these other countries in the world are doing by adding gold. In the infinite stupidity of our government, okay, both sides, guys, because mind you, going back to 1980, so this covers Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, Trump, and Biden. We have less gold now than we did 40 years ago. The country's going broke. Don't you do it too. If you can buy a little bit of gold or a little bit of silver, even where we are, $26 for silver is not outrageous, all right, by any means. Silver will, chances are, be up in mid-30s by the end of the year. I told you guys that at the beginning of the year, okay? Told you gold's going to be over 2,000, no problem. I'm not talking about trying to get rich. I'm talking about trying not to get poor. That's what you need to look at. The rest of the world is doing it. We need to be doing it too. It's called prepping. Pinball out.